In this video, I'm going to evaluate the development process of my Gestural interactive music system. It had been quite a long process from planning the idea, testing the system with the actual professional dancer, discover a problem and finding a solution to overcome the limitation. The purpose of this project is to translate an improvised dancing gesture into a new sonic art. The design of the system aims to utilize dancing gesture and translate it into a novelty musical composition, while the music in turn affect and enhance the role of the performer. My first approach is to develop some kind of sensor and tracking system that measuring the position of dancer, hands, and feet. As you can see in this video, one of the strategy I came up was using a different color LED light wristband with tracking system while video webcam. However, as the dancer moves away from the camera, the light that indicate the key point position display in the very small pixel in the video. The tracking system struggled to identify such a small point and lose tracking the movement. So I had to come up with a new approach by using Kinect Xbox camera operating in conjunction with Synapse application. At first it was quite tricky to send Synapse tracking information to my system. The solution is to use two computers operating in parallel. At this point, I didn't quite pay attention to the dancer performing and try to get her to understand the system and how to control the sound. This resulted in the lack of confidence in her dance performing, and instead of the dancer controlling the system, I start to realize that it's actually the system that is controlling the dancer. So during the testing experiment, I got the dancer to give me a feedback and how would they want the system to be controlled. We have agreed upon that the freedom of gesture is the most important factor in this project. By designing the algorithm that require the dancer to do a specific movement, do affect the creativity of the dancer. So on the test 3, I have to change my strategy and ask the dancer to improvise to the generated music from the system, instead of set her to actually controlling it. Otherwise, we will be losing the creativity of dancer and the artistic of dancing itself. This approach seems to work best for the dancer. In this case, we have Jordan. She have all the freedom of movement she like and let the algorithm work on the sonification. The system algorithm was designed based on music fundamental element, i.e., play on key and in the same scale and in the same tempo, to make the generated composition sound like music rather than random sonic abstract piece. Based on this testing experiment, in the aspect of the composition as a whole, the problem we discover is that it sounds quite repetitive, even though the note keep changing. In this case, the dancer hand and feet control 4 instruments at once. And once the system is activated, she have no control over how to stop it. So in this test 4, we introduce a solution of collaborating between dancer and composer as a symbolic approach. In this case, it was me which represent a composer who controlling the dynamic of composition structure. I'm using a simple fader control surface to feature in and out different instruments over time. In addition, I added a drum loop to simulate a situation if we have a musician or to sync the system with other machine.
Now get ready for the hook.
The result from this test was an amazing experience. We managed to synchronize our performance and successfully create a satisfied piece of composition. The fully edited music video provided within the submission folder. And for the test file of the last experiment, I had Eleanor as a performer. In this test, I briefly tell her how her movement affect the system, and her challenge is to interact with the system with her dancing gesture and also emotionally improvise with the generated sound from the system.
So as you can see, your far right is for the horizontal line is controlling the pitch of the system. So on your far right is the F. Stay there and try quickly move to the other side. So that's the low roller. And if you use your medium,
She seemed to understand and have a stronger emotional connection between her movement and the composition. We had quite a good result in the submission video. She insisted that the system react almost like an instrument, and she felt that she need a couple hours to learn the system behavior. Other than that, she mentioned that it was quite interesting system and offering such a unique experience for dancer perspective. I am quite pleased with the overall of the system performance. One of the future improve I would develop in the system is a Max MSP version. The problem that the system have is the complexity of the communication from Synapse to Max MSP to Max for Live. It is quite common when trying to send the data between a different software. Based on the attempt, it appeared that the send object that translate data wirelessly from Synapse application does not work when linked to Max for Live when the build mode is closed. Unfortunately, I could not get this feature to work within a time limitation. Otherwise, this would gain so much additional control that we could assign the gesture to, such as pan control, filter cutoff, delay level, or pretty much any parameter in Ableton. My final thought is that I am succeed the challenge of using human gesture to control musical parameter in Max MSP and fulfill my objective. Even though this still be a prototype, but I believe that I have created such a unique gestural interactive music system that able to track movement and generate such a pleasing music result through my sonification algorithm. Thank you.